All right, guys, solo show. Jesse is not here. He is up in New York goofing around, driving a 16-person passenger van like an idiot or doing whatever else he's doing, and I'm sure raiding Pokemon shops and pushing kids. Biggest thing I do want to talk about today, obviously, with a little bit of a, I don't know, I don't want to say nuanced take, because only, like, I feel like only elite clowns say the word nuanced, but obviously not the LeBron, I keep saying that, the Kobe Jordan dual logo man auto sold at auction. I believe Heritage sold the card, went for 12 and a half or a little over 12.5 million dollars, almost 13 million last night. And it was announced, I think it was this morning or yesterday, that Kevin O'Leary and then Shine, the bald little guy who does a bunch of massive high-end cards, apparently, I don't know where his money's from, crazy, crazy rich dude. Him, Kevin O'Leary, and some other guy I'd never heard of formed like a little team of buying, like a conglomerate. They called it a syndicate, where they're going out and buying these high-end pieces. Fantastic. And so the most popular take has been, and everybody, I have seen this, and I hate when things like this happen because it gives content creators the excuse to just be lazy. And so it's like, hey, this doesn't change anything. Just so you know, your cards aren't worth more because of this sale. And that's just become the go-to line. First of all, that's stupid for a number of reasons. I'm not going to go over everyone. But number one, nobody thinks that their card is worth more today. I've not listed a single card on eBay today for a higher price than the previous comps because that card sold. Nobody with a brain, and I will give you that. There's a lot of people who are totally clueless, brainless in this hobby, but nobody with a brain actually thinks their stuff is worth more. I think what most of us think, though, is, oh, this is actually going to change the high-end market a little bit, because you have people who are crazy, recognizable, multi-billionaires like Kevin O'Leary going on CNBC and talking about how they just spent $13 million on a baseball card, which is now the highest sale ever. It does change things. It doesn't mean every card auction tonight on eBay sells for more. It doesn't mean every Whatnot stream or eBay live stream is all of a sudden more valuable. But it does mean a couple things. A, there's more exposure for the hobby. Like O'Leary, and again, I'm not in the finance world at all, but if you ask me who's the most famous investor in the world, the first name that comes to my head is Kevin O'Leary. I love Shark Tank. He's all over the place. Rebecca, am I wrong? But like, he is that kind of like recognizable level, right? Like, that's not just this myth in my head, correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, like I know some people said like, oh well, Warren Buffett. And I was like, yeah, he's like
Yeah, but
300 years old, and Warren Buffett plays in like the S&P. I don't think he's buying baseball cards.
I was going to say the same thing. Younger people, for sure, I would say Kevin O'Leary is way bigger.
Yeah, nobody under 60 knows Warren Buffett. Like 50, I don't know. So yeah, you have like one of the most famous investors in the world throwing significant money and saying things like, hey, this is just the start. He's also on CNBC with a massive, massive audience. The clip's gone viral everywhere. It was trending on the Yahoo homepage today. It's a big thing. Like, whether you want to admit it or not, it is. The pushback I would give, and I said this on the Cut the Nonsense YouTube show this morning, and I didn't say it as clear as I wanted to because I was being attacked by two idiots. They know who they are. When people with massive money come in, I think you can do one of two things, and the one has become the most popular. So guys like Ruben come in the hobby. Guys like Kevin O'Leary announced are coming in the hobby. Tom Brady is now in the hobby. In the hobby in varying degrees. You interpret that however you want. I really don't care. But the initial and most, the reaction that I would say the majority of people, especially microphone content guys, have is, this is bad for the hobby. They're just here to inflate it. They don't care about the hobby at all. They're going to make their money, take their money and run. That is almost always the reaction. And I guess my pushback to that is, so what? Like, let's just say O'Leary is just in this. He doesn't care. It's literally just viewed as an asset. On a piece of paper, on one of his spreadsheets, it's just a check mark of, this asset cost me $13 million. I guess my thing is, people like that don't generally lose money. Like that guy, and I'm not a Kevin O'Leary fan. I know he is. I like the Shark Tank show, whatever. But like, when billionaires are spending time and giving their attention to something, it usually is because they see room for growth. Like, that's not the type of guy who's putting some time and attention into a hobby or into anything because he expects a 10% return. I think a lot of these guys expect massive long-term returns on this stuff, including Ruben, by the way. Again, I know Ruben is the villain for a lot of people, but I think if you step back and you say, hey, there's all these massively influential, massively rich people focusing on our hobby right now, who cares what the motive is? Like, and I say that, I understand that there could be some downside, right? Like when COVID hit, all these guys came in with the big microphones. The hobby there was the pump and dump. All these people allegedly got hurt because they overpaid and got left with cards. Okay, well, if you're still here, you've learned from that. So don't go out and spend more money because Kevin O'Leary says you should buy a card. That's A. Don't do that because anybody says it. Me, O'Leary, anybody. That's a stupid way to invest money or to buy a card or sell a card. But also be smart enough to recognize, like, hey, these guys are throwing significant investments into this thing. The hobby is being talked about on NBC like multiple times today. That clip has been played millions and millions of times. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I just think you can A, just talk about how these guys are here and they're going to ruin the hobby and everything's going to zero, and you can be the defeatist, or B, you can be like, you know what? If there's people with real money thinking this is going to take off, maybe I should put more time and attention into it and benefit when they do. Now, that doesn't mean everybody can go out and buy a 5, 6, 7, 8 figure card. I understand that too. And I also think there are layers to this. I think it helps the hobby in general because it definitely instills some confidence of like, hey, this thing's not going anywhere. There's too much real money here. But also, I would say the high end market, I do think is set for a little bit more of a boom. Because the other thing I know about the few rich people I've interacted with is, hey, you spent 12 billion or 12 million. That's cool. I'm going to go spend 15 million because that's cooler. If these guys want to get into a little bidding war because of their egos, I don't care. Just spend more money in the hobby. Bring more eyes to the hobby. I want to reference a post I saw earlier today. Other sales from this year. We had Mickey Mantle card. A Mickey Mantle card just sold for well over $1 million. It was an autographed 1952 rookie. Unbelievable sale. There's been multiple Mantles. I just saw this too, August 23rd, so this weekend. A Peyton Manning, which I think is the most expensive Peyton card ever sold now. PSA 10 contenders sold for $207,000. This is not a one-off sale. There's cards selling for huge amounts of money. Again, if you are skeptical or you want to be hesitant, I don't be cautious. No problem. Don't be fooled into going out and buying Grail type pieces because other people are doing it. A lot of people did that in 2020 and 2021. Stupid. If you're going to buy something, do your research. The other thing, don't let anybody pump to you what the next cool thing should be. If anybody has to imply a value should be higher than it is, it's because there's an angle. Like, we've seen that, though. We saw that with COVID. So, again, I guess I'm speaking to the people who have been here for the last 5 years since we've been doing the show and been here even longer. Like, if you've seen the song and dance before, so you're not going to get all starry-eyed because Kevin O'Leary buys a card, then have the other take of like, okay, I won't be caught off guard by the pricing on some of this stuff, but other people will. This will inevitably bring more people in. I don't think we'll see the same astronomical spike like COVID. The other thing I'd say about COVID, though, is yeah, there was a huge spike and then a big crash. Prices were higher at the crash, and are still higher today, by the way, at the crash of COVID, after the crash, than before 2020. So if you're going to tell me the market over the next 18 months is going to go up 65% because of all this influence and these people and these microphones, and then it's going to really crash and come back down, but it still leaves us 20% higher than we were today, I would just say good. Again, just general things. Don't overextend. Don't speculate if you don't have expendable income. Like, stay in your lane. And if you want to take some calculated risks because you think like I do, like, I'll be honest, we've been selling huge cards on eBay Live lately. That's been very specific and very targeted. We sold the Jordan 9.5. There's a market for people who want premium Michael Jordan cards. That was the highest card ever sold on the platform. We're going to outdo that this Sunday night, I hope, with some Kobe's. We sold last night even. We sold a Babe Ruth auto. It was a cut auto. It was a slab piece of a newspaper from years ago. Awesome piece. I got it from the LCS here, Shep. Sold for $8,500. Again, it was a premium piece. Obviously, nowhere in the stratosphere of 13 million. But even with high-end stuff like that, we sold a Jordan PSA 4 last night. A very nice copy. High-end stuff is still selling very, very well, and I think is going to continue. Because now you have not only people that are going to buy it because they want to flip and do that, but now I think you're going to continue to see more people come in of, hey, maybe we do want to view it as an asset class and we want to buy it for an investment. I know collectors hate that. Like, if you're buying to flip or if you use the word asset, you're an idiot, and we don't want you in the hobby. Just to be clear, I do. I don't care why you're buying cards. I just want people buying cards. I don't want everybody priced out of everything, and quite frankly, that is not the case. 90% of people are still not priced out of everything. It's a dramatic line we hear too much. I'm also aware enough to realize I'm a little out of touch because I am kind of a higher end collector. I have a little bit of money, expendable money. Maybe some people don't. I get that. So I'm trying not to just have the blinders on. But at the same time, I do think it's important to be like, hey, rather than just say, oh, this card sold, it's a terrible thing. Baseball cards are being talked about on huge news platforms, primarily to people who don't know or don't care about cards. That's a win. I'll take it all day. And that clip's going to keep going, and I guarantee he's going to make the rounds with the big boys in the hobby space. He'll be on a round table with a Ruben soon. He'll do the Gary V show on Instagram or something, and he'll talk about the hobby. Cool, I'm in. But I think there's one or two ways you can go. A, the sky is falling. These guys are going to ruin the hobby. Or B, people smarter and richer than me are throwing real money into this. Maybe this thing is not only sustainable, but is fit to take some growth. I'm going that way with it. Like I'm just that's my thinking. I'm more confident now over the next few years than ever. So um, that's it. I want to at least touch on that. It's not a one-off. Like I said, there's been some other really significant sales. Some people are talking about on Facebook. Like, hey, look at some of these other things that are selling as well. I've seen the same thing in my eBay lives. I would just say too, just one last pump there. We need inventory. We are ripping through so many singles on those live shows. It's stupid. Whether you want to just sell me the stuff or consign it with me, and you can get a huge payout, like 90%. I don't care, but we need inventory. I also think that's an indicative sign that the market is going to take a turn and stay busy. eBay is the absolute gorilla, like not close. They are the gorilla in this space, way bigger than Fanatics or anybody else. And they are just starting to throw marketing and money behind their live platform, and it's worldwide. Like that thing is just going to go crazy. I think we're in at a perfect time. We haven't done this recently either. We need more sellers, established sellers, singles or breakers. We do need more. We're finally kind of through the backlog. I owe a couple of you guys a call back. We were just so backlogged trying to get people on there. But basically, just come over, sell on eBay Live, kind of under our umbrella. You keep your brand. We get you a lower price, a lower fee, and then we help promote you. Because that is, we're throwing a ton of our resources over there to really build out an SCN seller channel over there. But yeah, I'm not always this optimistic, and I know because I have money in the hobby and I make my money, my view doesn't count and whatever. I don't care. I do. I think there's good things on the horizon. I think we're going to see some real spikes soon. So there you go. There's your opening segment. Mailbag super quick, and then we are done. It's a rushed episode. It's almost nap time, and I'm very excited about that. For him and me, by the way. Mauricio, the Wizard, what NFL product from Topps are you most looking forward to? Triple threads. Give me triple threads with old school triple thread, triple autos of Hall of Fame old dudes that I love. Also, how is Theo? He is good. The terrible two thing might be real. He's gotten a real little bit of an attitude with me and his mom lately. Yeah, it's been interesting. He's still awesome, still sleeping good. He's over the passy thing, but a little defiant. So we will beat that out of him, figuratively speaking. Take it easy, people. AP says, with all the wax that's in demand like the 90s and 2000s, does Topps have any still, or is it all out in the wild? Reason being, if they did have stock, would it still, would they ever insert random packs in for a big chase? So I think he's talking about like, hey, in 2025 Topps Chrome, which is the first year with licensing, we're going to put a pack of 1997 whatever with a PMG. I'm crossing brands, but you get the point. I don't think they have a stockpile, but if they did, that would be amazing. I actually love that idea, AP. Kyle, I love you. Your question's long. We'll do a little bit of it. If you are both a collector and flipper, what's the best way to manage both with a limited budget / capital? I mean, this was me when I started, so I spent money, and when I wanted to make something new, I had to move pieces I had. So if I want to buy a $100 card, move $100 worth of small stuff, work your way up to it. If there was one single thing in the hobby that you would change to improve the hobby for the greater good, what would it be? I don't know. I actually don't have a useful answer. Favorite card in your collection under $100? That's a good question. Man, I've got some dirt cheap Griffies and Brady's that I just think are awesome. So I don't have a great collection, like a great answer specifically, but there are hundreds of Brady's and Griffey cards that are dirt cheap. I mean, $5 and less that I just think are awesome photos. So something along the lines of that. Best buy right now, this is Don Getters. Best buy out of these 4 NBA players where you think there's good potential for long-term growth. Luka, Giannis, Joker, KD. I think the KD train has sailed. I don't think he's winning another championship. I think he's going to go down as one of these guys, all-time great, but never won without like great help around him, without the Golden State team. And I think he's fallen out of favor. He moves every 3 weeks, so I don't love that. Joker, unbelievable player. The only problem, the big man market. Look at Bill, Wilt, Hakeem, Duncan, Shaq. Don't love it. Giannis has already done more than he's probably going to do the rest of his career. So I think it's Luka. He's never won an MVP, never won a championship. I think he will, and he's a guard. People love him. He's the most popular of those 4. So I would go. I wouldn't buy any of them long term to hold. I don't love any of them that much, but if I had to, I would go Luca. Tim, I like it. Gun to your head. Which piece of memorabilia do you want? Oh, this is West Wing. Jed Bartlett's Paul Revere forged knife that he gave to Charlie. Yeah, Charlie did not appreciate that piece. The Kennedy golf clubs that Kramer took from Elaine from Mr. Pitt's collection. Oh, no question. Jed Bartlett. Been in the family since the 1800s. All day. Not even close. If you could do a spin off, second pod like Jesse did with Hobby Nonsense Pod, what would the subject be? From Hayes, Chandler Hudson, the dad pod. When I ever get time to breathe, I would still love to just document being a dad, like a relatively older dad, and like the challenges and joys and challenges about that. But I don't think that's realistic anytime soon. But that would be it for sure, Hayes. Sean, do you think Panini should come up with a midget wrestler's product? You can't say that word, Sean, so absolutely not. How dare you? Chad Ward, how long until the hobby misses Panini products after the takeover? Chad, I 1,000% agree. As soon as we can have it, we will talk about the good old days with Panini, even though we all hated it in the day. And then Patty Parker, last question, buy, sell, hold. I always do one of the three for each names. So Judge, Soto, Acuna. I'm holding Judge. If you're going to sell him, I mean, hold him forever if you want. If not, hold him at least till the World Series run, then sell him. Soto, I think you probably have to hold as well. And Acuna, I think you could buy right now. He's cheap and hold. I think you could do all three. So there you go. I am live. We'll be live in Fanatics Live throughout the week. Eddie's live pretty much every night over there, ripping case breaks. We're still doing almost all of our case breaks and ripping on Fanatics Live. Sunday singles is going to be our big thing. They're going really well. So eBay Live, Sports Cards Nonsense is the eBay name. Sundays at 7 p.m. Central, we've been doing our big single shows, and those have been killing it, so we're going to keep doing that. I got to talk with Burns today over at Grand Slam. The goal is to have a couple monster Kobe patch autos and a bunch of bat barrels. I got to see if he's still cool with me taking those on consignment, but we'll talk about it. So I'll be back Thursday. Jesse's gone all week, so Thursday I've got Adam Gray and then Brian from BWA Cards coming back with his eBay Live update. That is your show. See you on Thursday. Goodbye.